What, what? What?
I was seeing if I could hold my breath for the whole countdown.
Oh no, you can't do that. That's poor work.
What?
You can't do that. You don't you gotta save your holding your breath for when it's really important.
Oh, thanks, Mama.
Yeah, you gotta save it. What if you needed it right now? What if you needed your breath? You were just holding it for no reason.
But that's a good point. I was foolish a few moments ago, but now I'm older and wiser.
Now you're older and wiser by a 30-second countdown.
Yeah.
I
Listen,
love your back. I always have been admiring people's back, yes. And I leave mine blank. It's a blank canvas because that is what my life is. It's not because I live in Brooklyn and don't carry anything around. Yours is such a collection of who you are.
it's well, there's not a empty wall in my room. I
No, I
I'm
know.
definitely not as much of a um like my brother makes shrines to everything
Yes,
to have room for all of his shrines.
yes.
And my whole room is like a shrine.
Okay, absolutely. But
And
you keep it to the room.
yeah.
Yeah, great.
Well, as soon as I can finally get you that Star Trek: The Next Generation poster it'll take
I'll
up
have
room for your
something.
wall. Then you'll have a
You,
backdrop.
I realize I have like three things adorning my wall. I have an illustration of Barbara Streisand. I'll show them one day. I'll prepare my angles. I have a Barbara Streisand poster that I rescued from a estate home. It was an estate sale. I rescued it.
You talk about it like people with their rescue dogs. This is your rescue Streisand.
It's true. I was true. I'll never forget it because it was the son who was hosting it because his mother had passed. And I found it in this record bin, this Barbara Streisand record for like 11, like $7 or something stupid. And he was like, "Oh my God, I'm so glad you," because I geeked at it. I was like, "Oh my God," because it had the poster inside.
Yeah,
And he saw me from across the room. He was like, "Oh, I'm so happy somebody likes that," because that was my mom's favorite record. But like, I was like, "I will happily take it."
I love it. That's a thing that I miss about tapes, records, and CDs
Yes.
because like the posters in them, like my Young Guns 2 Blaze of Glory record that I've been playing nonstop at the Brick, also has this like super sexy John Bon Jovi
Yeah.
insert. And it's like,
I think there's something also interesting about paper media that we're going to start to, and this solid media, I don't know, like solid media, is that a thing? Is that it can disappear too, right? Like eventually there's going to be like one poster left. And eventually those are going to get worn away, and eventually there'll be one less versus like a digital copy, which I don't know.
yeah, it's true. I mean, that's why I always, whenever I'm like touching my items, I think of one of my favorite novels, David Markson's Wittgenstein's Mistress. And it's about this woman who thinks that she might be the last person on the planet. And she has to like burn paintings at the Louvre for warmth. And
Oh,
it's that sort of thing where I'm like, at what point will I get to the point where I either have to eat or burn
oh, burn.
my Alf memorabilia?
Is that the first to go? What's
It's
that
the last to
movie?
go. I'll
It's
burn
like
everything else before I burn my Alf memorabilia.
there's this movie, I don't remember what it's called. Dennis Quaid is in it. If you know it, write
Inner
it in the chat. What is it?
inner space?
No, if yes, eat your burn your solid media. No, if you remember this, it's Dennis Quaid, and it's like the end of the world, and his son is trapped in New York, and there's like a major frost. I look, if you know what you're watching, if you know it, let me know.
Yes.
Dennis Quaid and what's in I think like Toby Maguire's his son or something like that. But the whole world's frozen over and they're trapped in the library and they're like, "Oh no, we have to start burning books for warmth. Should we start in like the romantic section?" And this woman's like defining when we start. And this kid comes up and he's like, "Hey, there's like scores and scores of tax law. Day after tomorrow. Thank you. The day after tomorrow.
The day after tomorrow.
The today after tomorrow." And she's like, "No, there's whole sections of tax law we can start with. Like if you need to burn books, we'll start there."
Oh my
A
God.
long way for a joke that didn't play. There's a long way for that. Thanks for letting me get there, man.
In the chat, too, Pioneers Go East asked if this is a Richard Foreman poster. And it is. Speaking of posters and items, like the East Village used to like let you know that a Foreman show was about to happen because they would be up everywhere in this black and white style with this font, you know, a different cool poster for every show. But it was like, you know, that November, December, you would be like, and the next Foreman show is going to be in January. And so this is from the show that I was in, The Gods Are Pounding My Head, aka Lumberjack Messiah. And it's signed by the whole cast and Foreman. So T. Ryder Smith, Jay Smith, Ben Horner.
Oh, wow.
Chris Mirto.
I love Chris Mirto.
Yes.
Small Planets.
Oh my God. And Kate Volk was there that night. So I got Kate Volk to sign it. I shit, you know, like I was just like, Kate Volk, could you just sign this poster for me? I was just like, oh,
I love it.
yeah.
Isn't it great? I'm telling you, posters are great. You know, a poster tells a whole story. Do you know what I mean? Like a poster is like, when everything melts away, it's like, here's this poster. A good poster will remind you.
Yeah. Well, and this poster working is actually from Eric Avery.
A Small Planet.
From an artist that he really loves in Minneapolis.
Yes.
So, and anyone who didn't like either live in Minneapolis or go to the University of Kansas, like doesn't care about what we're talking about. But
I think many people do. You viewers at home, if you don't care, let us know in the chat. We don't care who our next artist is. And that's a fair question. Who do we have up? Tell us what's going on tonight, T.
Yeah. So our first artist, and I'll do my exponential recap, and then we'll get into our first artist.
Yes. How's that been going, by the way?
Oh, so good. Like such a tour of emotions this week. But it's been an excellent week. So last week I did a thing where I was like, we got to keep this show moving. So I'm going to come up with 3 adjectives to express my feelings during each of the shows that happen this week. So I'll do that, and then we'll welcome our first guest.
I love it.
Who is Tessa Barlow-Ochshorn, who I'm really excited to have on the show. So this past week, and you can watch all of these things if you go to the Exponential Festival YouTube. They are up until they get taken down for some reason, you know. And I say it like that, and it's like, no, it's not like in like weird. It's not the same reason that like Trump got kicked off Twitter. You know, it's just like there might be nudity. There might be nudity. And we might get kicked off of YouTube. I don't know.
But it'll be flash nudity.
Yeah.
They don't have cameras for that. Do they have cameras that are like, we saw a boob?
Right? Do they? And what if it's just like a grapefruit with a nipple drawn on it?
I mean, if it's a graphic grapefruit, it needs to be off camera.
Yeah, can't have the kids seeing
inciting violence. Grapefruit.
So recap of the shows. Wednesday of this past week was Stiff Drink with Dr. Eustace Sissy, presents Corona Cam show, and it was such a delight. But I would say that show was appealing, shocking, and soothing. That's a lot of different feelings to have in 1.5 hour, but
that is an up down right there.
It was, you know, it was all over the place. And many other feelings too, but those were the 3 big takeaways.
I was such a fan of Dr. Sissy.
Oh, and like you got to watch because I think you'll and you got a sneak peek last week of Toby doing that video with the ass.
Oh yeah.
Got some ass in there, got some boots in the trash can.
He was great.
Oh, what a delight. That show is fun. And on a double bill with that was another long title, so I have to read it because I don't trust my brain.
Read it to me.
It was Eins Trompe X Wander, a maybe myth of running nuns, or Once I Dreamed of You, a maybe myth of running nuns, which was Leonie Bell's nun spectacular. Oh my gosh. But actually, both shows had like thrilling cameos as well.
Oh, yes.
But my description of Running Nuns: delightful, ridiculous, and religious on many levels.
They're addressing the nunnery. It's not just a costume. She's addressing it, getting in there.
Yeah,
All of
the
that.
nuns bring their complaints, you know,
Oh, great.
and we've been waiting for years for the nuns to bring forth their complaints.
Look, then if there's someone who's had a lot to say, it's the nuns. Do you know what I mean? It's the nuns who are like, we are.
Yes.
Yes.
Then the next night was our beloved and outskirt, and my descriptions of theirs: entrancing, personal, melodic.
Oh,
It was so gorgeous.
I am expected to use this term gorgeous because whenever I hear something is melodic and entrancing, it is I want to, envelop in myself in it. Like it's yes. Yes.
Yes, it's like a music sauna, you know, you're just like,
Great.
turn it up all the way
Oh, I love that.
and
A
let me
music sauna.
luxuriate. It was so good. I actually started it immediately after it was over. I watched it again.
I love that. And I can watch it on the website, the
Yep.
Exponential Festival.
The YouTube.
The YouTubes.
Friday night was Madge Love, which was Fringe and Fur, who we had on at the end of the show last week.
Okay.
And so you go to YouTube for theirs, and then like after 1 minute, you click on the link that's on the YouTube. It's on the Eventbrite. It's on the website. So send me a message, and I'll send you the link.
It will drive you there.
Yeah, you go to their website because they use that software Echo that they were talking about last week. And oh my goodness, they're
so cool.
Painful, beautiful, sensual.
Just from the clips we saw, I could tell that. Absolutely. And what a unique technology to be able to create something like that with such a cold program, to create something so, deep.
Yeah, well, and like you're saying, like it really allowed them to tell the story in the way that they wanted to tell the story.
Yes.
Which was really cool. It was the form melding with the content in this really beautiful way.
I love that. I love that.
Then the next night was something totally different yet again, and here we have another one of our long titles. So it was a two show night. The Unquestioned Interiority of Humankind, a comprehensive corporate compendium of the corporeal and acorporeal realities of the Anthrosphere, compiled by the Bureau of Conceptual Designation in accordance with the source code, was at 9 p.m.
We've seen his stuff before.
Oh yeah,
I know the source code. Oh, I know the source code.
It was so fun. So my mom tuned in on Saturday and also today, and she was just like, my brain is exploding.
Yeah.
During Nathan's, it was just like, what is going on?
So fun.
It was so good.
And, and the large title makes sense to me once I know who we're talking. Once you know what you're talking about, you've kind of been there. You're like, yeah, that makes sense to me.
That makes sense. So I would just the three adjectives for that one. I'd say organized, relentless, and virtuosic. Like I really don't know anyone who can do what Nathan does.
That's great.
I literally don't know anyone who does what Nathan does. It's pretty incredible.
That's great.
Then right after that was The Puzzlers and The Puzzlers 2, Black Box, with Accent Wall Productions. So that was the interview that Chris Giarmo did last week with Jess Barbagallo and Emily Davis and Lucy and Andre Caillot. And it was just like very funny, of course.
Yes.
Very, very funny. But they shot at the Brick, and I wasn't there while they were shooting. I set Jess up with the keys and all that. So I had no idea what they did in there. I was like, I trust you. Do what you want.
Yeah, which is great.
So it was a total surprise to me to see how they use the space, and I was just so emotional.
Oh, I love that. Isn't that fun? Someone can flip a space in your head. You're like, where was that? Oh, was that my apartment? Like, you change the lights and change the angle, and all of a sudden, like, where are you? You know.
Well, and they moved a bunch of stuff around, but when I came back, it was all back where it had started.
Oh, so you mean they took care of things as well?
Yeah.
What?
Professionals.
Get out of here, professionals.
That's some theater professional behavior. So I would say 3 words to describe that: relational, absurd, and endearing.
And professional.
And professional.
I love all of that. That's great.
And
I got to check the site. I got to go to the YouTube, go to the link to see this. I can still see Dr. Sissy's is still up. Yes.
yeah, you
Okay,
can
great.
need to.
Great.
So then the last one of this week was today at 5 p.m. And
Ooh, what happened then?
that was Deepali Gupta, who was also with us last week and sang.
Yes. Love
And
her.
let me tell you, that was a perverse reverie forever. And I mean, the collaborators with whom Deepali works are incredible, but Deepali is just like an artist in the deepest and most true sense of the word. And it's just so beautiful.
Oh, I
And
love that.
the words to describe it, I used fluid, consuming, and harmonious.
Mm,
But it's like a visual album. It's 30 minutes.
mm.
There's some real bops in there, but also some that just like rip your heart out, put it in a blender and then put it back together and then the heart speaks to you and says, "But I'm still a heart though." Like that's
Ooh,
how I felt.
ooh. Well, I want the bops. I'll go for the bops. And then
Yes. Come for the
that
bop,
was
stay for the blender heart.
yeah. There it is. I'll come for the bops and I'll stay for the blender. Great.
So
Great.
that was this week, which was incredible and just a real, and you'll get reminders throughout the rest of the show, and then we'll get to Tessa. But to remind what we have coming up, since not everyone is represented on the show here tonight, that is coming up this week, we have on Tuesday, because we wanted to give everyone their inauguration day on Wednesday.
Yes.
The show is on Tuesday. And we have a triple bill of extreme excitement. We have our dear friends Ivy Castellanos and Amanda Hunt, and their piece Conduit starts at 7:30 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
Immediately after them is one of my favorite performers from Exponential 2020, Salome Egas, doing her piece, which is called Zerciendo Retazos. That will be around 8. And then around 9 o'clock is Psychic Wormholes Reckoning. And that is Alex Romagna, who some people might know from the space The Woods, and Stacey Lynn Smith, who's just such an incredible creator. And they made this piece together. And it's
what's the title again? What's the name of it?
That one is called Reckoning.
Oh, that sounds great. I'm excited.
So those 3 all in a row, you can be like me and go to all 3, or you can go to one, or you can catch them all the next day, because you know what? That's why they're still up.
I love that.
Then we skip inauguration day and we come back with our dears who are going to see some of their stuff later today. The Pioneers Go East Collective. And we love them so much here at Out of an Abundance, and also at the Brick, and also just in general.
Yeah, they've been great.
So excited for Lucky Star Superstar. That's Thursday night, 8 p.m.
I love that.
Then the next night is a split bill that will be excellent. We have Chris Ignacio's How to Sing, a Survival Guide, which is he uses animation and puppets and props in a way that's very Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Ooh.
And it's just, but he's also this like gorgeous singer and pianist and all of these things. I'm so excited.
Ooh, that sounds right up my alley.
The whole night's going to be right up your alley, because you're going to, spoiler, you're going to fall in love with Chris Ignacio. Sorry.
Okay, great.
You're just going to text me
great.
later. And then right after that is Darian Deshawn doing Liftoff, which is a sci-fi romantic comedy. And like his other sort of sci-fi project is Brobot, Half Brother, Half Robot. And so he works in this sci-fi genre so well. They shot all this green screen stuff in the Brick. And I'm so excited. I'm just ready.
Thursday.
That's Friday night.
That's Friday nights.
Double bill. Then another split bill on Saturday night. We got Yuji Lowe's Animal Empire, which is sort of a what if the animals defeat the humans kind of tale.
Ooh. We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah, it's like, get ready. And then after that, we'll see something from them tonight. YACKEZ is doing New World Paradigm, which love YACKEZ. They've been on.
Yes, we've been on before. They've ended it up.
We're going to see their best looks of 2020 tonight.
Work.
And during their show, so get ready, everyone. During their show, their last song, during that song, Larissa will invite everyone to do some dance moves, either your own or the ones that YACKEZ provide for you, and record yourself doing it, and then email them to Exponential, and we'll create a new music video featuring everyone's dancing. So, and you can send it. You don't have to do it during the premiere. You can send a video of yourself dancing anytime in the 2 weeks after the premiere, and we'll take it and we'll make a music video of all of these weirdos dancing. And
I'm sending you 10 minutes of me making my booty clap.
Ooh,
yeah, 10 minutes of it.
I need
10 minutes.
I'll tell Larissa to make the song longer, just so that
it would just be this.
I'm in. And then the last thing that we'll have in this coming week is who we have coming up next. Tessa Barlow-Ochshorn, How to Wake Up, will be at 7 p.m. next Sunday, and we'll end with a live segment on Out of an Abundance of Caution. So,
well, I can't wait.
Right? Tune in at 7, and then on YouTube, and then come with all of us to Out of an Abundance, and it'll be a live finale.
Smooth transition. I love that. Ooh, that's fun.
Smooth transitions. We should bring Tessa. Well, we're going to start with a short video, 1-minute video by Tessa, and then we'll bring her on to talk a little bit about her show.
I love it.
Awesome.
Every morning the world is created. Under the orange sticks of the sun, the heaped ashes of the night turn into leaves again and fasten themselves to the high branches. And the ponds appear, like black cloth on which are painted islands of summer lilies. If it is your nature to be happy, you will swim away along the soft trails for hours, your imagination alighting everywhere. And if your spirit carries with it the thorn that is heavier than lead, if it's all you can do to keep on trudging, there is still somewhere within you a beast shouting that the earth is exactly what it wanted. Each pond with its blazing lilies is a prayer heard and answered lavishly every morning, whether or not you have ever dared to be happy, whether or not you have ever dared to pray.
What did you just do, Xavier? Did you drop something?
I just dropped something. I was like, I was so excited. I was looking at my glasses, and then all of a sudden, everything fell over, and I was like, oh my God, we're back. Tessa's great.
Yeah.
You have her? She's here with us?
Come on in, Tessa. Hello.
Hello.
Tessa has some eggs. So, yeah, first and foremost, as we talk to you today, you're going to be making scrambled eggs. Is there anything you want to share with us about your scrambled eggs process, or do you want to narrate throughout?
Well, you can check in with me at any time, Theresa. I'll let you know what's going on. I'll tell you that I like them low and slow.
How many eggs are you using? How many eggs?
I'm using these two very cool eggs. They're so nice and cold. Yeah. These are the ones I'm using.
That. Scrambled egg. Easy. Salt, pepper before or after?
So we're doing salt and pepper before. You gotta get the salt in before. Here's the thing. I love talking about scrambled eggs to people because everyone makes scrambled eggs. Oh, everyone has their way of making them, and it speaks to where they come from and what they love. And salt is the constant.
Salt is everything. You need salt on everything, and especially
you do. You need it.
Well, 3 out of 3 people in this interview agree salt on everything. So, let's get your opinions about salt in the chat. See if anyone wants to take a different stance, but I doubt it.
I think it's a universal. I hope it's universally held belief. Yeah. Also, Did you know that you can't crack an egg with one hand? Did you know this?
No.
I'm really trying right now. It probably doesn't look like it, but I actually really am trying very hard. Yeah. You can't. It's one of the most complete objects in the universe.
That's
Try it. Does anyone else in the chat have experience with this? Trying to crack it in your hand?
I'm gonna be really shocked if I go and squeeze an egg when I get home, and I'm gonna go to my fridge and be like, "No, I was tricked." No, it's.
I promise you.
Oh, I love that.
I promise you. But if you crack it a little first, it will crack in your hand, and then you'll have a big surprise. A big surprise.
They say if you use scrambled eggs, you chopsticks. Because the way it breaks it up, I left this online. Use chopsticks, and you'll swirl it around with chopsticks. And the way it drags it doesn't drag it too much.
I need to talk to you later.
Yes, let me.
Xavier has all the tips.
I love to cook.
I love it. So as you're cooking, tell us a little bit about the process of the show and where the idea originated.
Where did the idea originate? Okay. I'll paint you a picture that I think many of us can relate to. It's 7:30 in the morning. My phone alarm goes off because I have to go make baskets, which is what I do with my life. That is my money job, and I love it. But I still have to get up and go. And my alarm goes off on my phone, and I look at my phone, and I have an alert, and it says something like, the soon-to-be ex-president of the United States has had a meeting with the MyPillow CEO to discuss martial law. You might see that on your screen. And so, yeah, you can take out your eyes, which I've tried to do, but not succeeded at. And instead, usually what I do is go on Twitter, and then an hour has passed and I'm late to work. And that's no way to wake up. That's no way to wake up. So I started thinking about how to do it in a healthier way, in a way that nourishes me and makes me kind of more open to the world. And I thought, wouldn't it be great to talk to as many people as possible about how they wake up? And so I did. I did that. I explored my own wake up practices, which was kind of weird, but you'll see that next weekend if you decide to tune in. And I learned a lot about the morning. I kind of developed a new relationship with it. So I'm pretty stoked about that.
I love it. I love it. Yes, I love that sound too. There's something, I hate the sound of chewing, but I love the sound of mixing.
There's such different sounds, but I guess they're accomplishing the same end, but at different points in the process.
Yes.
They'd be sounds that you'd hear in a kitchen.
Dealing with food. You said you learned a lot about mornings. What did you learn?
Okay, well, I learned that if you want to have a good morning, you really should move your body, which honestly sucks.
Yeah.
I really would prefer it if the best morning came out of just lying still and maybe moving half an inch. But if you get up and you really move your body, the likelihood of having a good morning is much higher. I learned that if you drink water in the morning, you can speak to someone and not have it come out as just a croak that the embarrassment of which follows you for the rest of the day. I'm about to turn on my stove. What else did I learn? Sunrises are gorgeous and they look great over, Brooklyn building roofs. They're really wonderful. And it's really nice to be quiet for a little while and not look at your screen. Those are some things. And then sometimes it's nice to call your grandma in the morning, which I never did before because I never had the energy. But sometimes you wake up and you're like, okay, I did these things. I can call Nana and talk to her about eggs.
Oh my God. I mean, those are all things that I wish that I had done the personal research to discover for myself. But since you did the research, I can learn from you and try to incorporate some of these things into my existence as well.
What's cool is that you totally are an expert of the morning, and so is everyone, because we all fucking do it every day of our life, which is not fair, but we really do. We really do it.
No one said it would be fair, so yeah, morning's not fair, but we all eventually wake up, or we don't, you know.
Right. I hope we do.
Yeah. So what do you think the viewing experience will be like of your show?
Which part?
That's a great question, right? So there's the 7 o'clock to 7:30 segment, and then the finale that we'll do on Out of an Abundance, which I think already implies something about the viewer experience of being able to travel with the show. But yeah, beyond that sort of framework, how do you think? How would you like the audience to experience your piece?
All right. Well, we aim to rejuvenate. We, as in I, myself, I hope to energize. The first piece is kind of a collage. So there's a lot to look at, a lot to experience. Hopefully you can imagine smells and tastes and put yourself in lots of different environments. And then the second part is as interactive as you would like it to be, because we will be making eggs again. Not my egg recipe. That went a lot quicker than I intended, but these eggs are done. They're done. We will be making eggs, and we're gonna kind of get ready for tomorrow. So it's gonna be a time when we can, by ourselves, connect with the larger Twitch community, I guess, and take some time to breathe and stretch and make eggs. Yeah, kind of build a little prayer, I hope.
I love that. And I feel like that's a sort of good end to this segment, because Xavier sort of asked intuitively the last question I had, which is what are some hot tips? Your eggs are ready. They're ready to be consumed. I'm so ready for your show and everything that comes after, or continues from this process. It's I was chatting with DePauli earlier today, and she was saying that Perverse Reverie Forever sort of felt like a sequel to Over Reverberating, a show that she had done a couple of years ago. And I was like, we're always in sequels. Like, I think that as an artist, you're always working on the sequel to the last thing that you did, because it's in many ways a response to that and wouldn't have been possible without the thing that you just did.
Right. So right. And tomorrow's a sequel to today.
Exactly.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. I hope the sequel. No, I think actually today was pretty good. But
Great.
I was about to say, like, I hope the sequel is better. But I do hope the sequel is better. I hope tomorrow's better than today. I'm not gonna lie.
Every day will be what it is. There's really no escape from the reality, but it could be rich and wonderful.
That's the truth.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Tessa. And reminder to everyone, tune in next Sunday, 7 p.m. before you come back to Out of an Abundance at 8 o'clock to get the finale of How to Wake Up.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great to talk to
both of you. We love having you. Thank you, Tessa. Enjoy your eggs.
I know. I'm like, I want some eggs.
I want some eggs.
But you can make them so fast. You can make those eggs so fast.
Easy peasy.
I love Tessa. That's awesome. So next up, we have our dears, Pioneers Go East Collective. They have two things to share with us, a trailer and also an excerpt. So I think we'll just watch both of them together, and then
let's do it.
And get yourself ready, because we're gonna have some story time.
Oh, we'll talk after. We'll see Lucky Superstar. We'll see Lucky Star Superstar, and then we can gab after.
Exactly.
Are you performing a part to impress me? Are you performing a part for approval? The applause is wonderful, isn't it? is like love, baby. Far away, it's like a video game. You need to get to the next level to win, but the adventure and the tools you need to accomplish winning the prince or winning the princess are on the way to that level. Level 1. Walking through the woods, there was a deer sanctuary close by. They would often pass me on my way. They were so beautiful in the white snow. Level 2. It was my first time. I wore a top hat, an orange rabbit's foot around my neck. Once we got to the Flatiron District, it started pouring. No one flinched. We cheered. We continued our march. Energy even higher. My energy even higher. My top hat was lost or destroyed, but I couldn't have cared less about it. Level 3. A fantasy. A state of mind. Do I want to be locked in a small space? No. Could I do it for art? Yes. I played Nag, an endgame, and had to kneel in a trash can for over an hour on stage. Oscar the Grouch, trapped in a can on stage. Biggest lesson in stillness ever. I played Nag, an endgame, and had to kneel in a trash can for over an hour. Oscar the Grouch, trapped in a can on stage. Biggest lesson in stillness ever. I played Nag, an endgame, and had to kneel in a trash can for over an hour. Oscar the Grouch, trapped in a can on stage. Biggest lesson in stillness ever. In a small space. Level 4. 42nd Street. I still get a thrill riding my bike through Times Square to this day. There's something about the hustling energy that's humbling and gives me a sense of security. The billboards on Broadway showing the winners of the video game. It is nice to see so many tourists fascinated by this place I get to call home. The billboards blinding neon lights. My top hat was lost or destroyed, but I couldn't have cared less about it.
My ballet teacher used to make us do this one exercise, the jump, over and over again. I wouldn't get better at first, but that was part of the process. But then, what I was able to do, that was fascinating. To see myself improve, not in the moment, but building over time. I could jump higher, and I would see it, feel it. My ballet teacher started letting me go with the boys because they jumped higher. I love the challenge. Perfection. It takes repetition, it takes practice, and persistence, but it also takes reflection. I wouldn't jump higher in one day, but the next day I would, and jumping became second nature. I don't have to think about it now. I realized then what it takes to get better. No, I don't have to stay in this situation. No one can stop me. To reflect, sit with it, trial and error, that allows me to perfect my movement. Now I see how doing it, training is both the process and the reward. I don't talk a lot. Ever. Most of the time I say things in my head, but never vocalize. I was shut down as a teenager, and I fear it now. With dance, I breathe, I feel those feelings, I experience those feelings, and I'm able to burst out. You cannot not watch me. Oh no, you can't. That's the reason why I'm still in it for good. I want the attention. Over time, it has gone from wanting the attention to prove to myself that I can do it, to be heard. Now, it's about me. I want to be better and improve to be perfect for me.
Oh, that was wonderful.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. It makes me want to just like, and I didn't even like going to clubs in the first place. Like I would barely go to Splash for musical Mondays. You know what I mean?
Oh, respect to the throwback of an ancient lady gone by. Um, B, I had the exact same feeling. It made me want to be in, and not even specifically at a club specifically, but it just felt very East Village for me, that freedom of being out on a Saturday night in East Village. And I know everyone else is out on a Saturday night in East Village. So you're passing everything with their own looks and their own stories. And that's what that music made me reminded me of.
Yes. Totally same. Like it just puts me back like sitting on my stoop on Fifth Street with Pierre, my super, uh,
We had the best spot.
and just waiting for friends to be like, I'm leaving blah blah blah. Do you want to smoke a cigarette on your stoop? You know,
Yeah,
um,
you had the spot for that. That was the spot.
it was the spot. Ah, well, all right. So story time.
Oh,
Rice is up now. I'm so excited for this because you know I love your stories. And in honor of the story you're telling, I got my boot bolo with a real
you
scorpion.
got a boot bolo with the real. Get super close with that. That's so cool. You got that at that site you were telling us about.
Yes,
Oh, I love it. Oh, that looks cool. I
the real
love
scorpion.
yeah, I'm obsessed with stories. There's something about a good story that we tell about each other and that we tell ourselves about things. Um, for me, for example, if you were to tell someone about me and you say, you don't know my friend Xavier, but here's a funny story about him. You're by your smile, you already know some of the stories that yeah. And that's kind of my point, right? A story is when a person is far behind, when a person is not in front of us, we use a story to capture that moment, that history. And older stories that are stories beyond personal stories, these older stories about humanity, are really interest me as well. And I came across one that I found really fascinating, and it's about the scorpion and the frog. And it is along the lines of an Aesop's fable, but it is not. It is actually a Persian fable that was reworked and found its way into Russian literature in 1811. And I think it's very relevant to what's happening right now. We use and animals are used in this story to tell a story about like humans and what we do as humans to us. So I'd like to recount this story to you, this fable. All right, Theresa, here we go. So this story is called The Scorpion and the Frog. And as you imagine, it is about a scorpion and a frog. And they are both traveling along their respective roads of life. Or, the book, it just said, in the story, it just says road. But I'm sure this isn't a conversation about, traffic maintenance, or, so this is about life. So the scorpion and the frog are traveling on their respective roads to life until they both come to a river that they both need to cross. All right. So the frog's about to get up in the water, and the scorpion's like, hey, what's up, brother? Can I bend your ear for a second? I need to get across the river. The frog's like, what does that have to do with me? As he begins to put his stuff in the water. Well, I see that since you're going across the river, and it seems like it's going to be such an easy ride for you. You being a frog with the flippers, with the sticky fingers and all. I was wondering if you could give me a ride on your back. And so the frog is like, "Excuse me, what? Did you just ask for a ride on my back? Yeah, on your back across the river. Yeah, across the river." So the frog's like, do you think I'm crazy? And the scorpion's like, yeah, I know. I see. You see my claws and I got the legs, 6 of them. Yes, you have 6 legs, and my claws, and the big pointy thing, the tail. Yes, you have the tail in the back. But hear me out. If I wanted to kill you, I would have killed you already because we've been talking for so long and ain't nobody come around. But I'm not here to do that. And if I were to sting you, while you giving me a ride across the river, if I were to sting you, you would die and we would both drown. So if I give you a ride, if I give you a ride, you won't sting me on my back. I promise, because if I would, we'd both die. Frog thinks about it. All right, that sounds reasonable. That makes sense. That sounds reasonable to me. So the frog gets in the water. Scorpion crawls on his back. They start off across the river. They get about halfway across, and the scorpion stabs him in his back. And they both drown. Before the frog goes under, he's like, Scorpion, hey man, why did you do that to me? We're both drowning. Why did you do that? And the scorpion says, I don't know. It was in my nature. I like this story with what we're going through right now. There's a lot of Aesop fables that are about trusting someone, and I don't think this conversation's about that. There's the crow. I think there's the crow and the farmer. You know, there's stories out there that are about trusting someone. Also, the historians and writers will point out that in this fable, the scorpion, the protagonist, as it were, is very aware that his actions will kill him too. Right? This isn't a conversation about him wanting to hurt himself or others. He knows that if he were to do this, he's going to die. So I think as we listen to this story and we reflect as how we can treat each other as humans, I think that story is in our history. This story is passed down along of us to say to ourselves to trust not only our instincts about others, but also to understand that it is our nature to be who we are. And some people, most people, everyone will be true to themselves, regardless of what cost. When we think politically, I think we talk about, maybe we could look at Mitch McConnell and we talk about him. This is an example that's on my head is talking about him, maybe I will vote to impeach when this comes up. Maybe I will sign up. That was him like a week ago, and now that has changed. I think even when this change of administration happens, we should remind ourselves that people may want to do right, and people will trust to be good, but we must understand that people will only do what's in their nature.
Oh my goodness. I mean, A, thank you for this story. B, I can't wait for this to be an ongoing project of yours because
I enjoy it. There's so many stories out there, and I really think that we use history, the stories are chunks of history, and we say that, we have to know history to know ourselves, and to know history we're doomed to repeat it. And I think it's so easy to go back and say our history books say in 1811 and 1940 and 1482, but our history is much deeper. Our human history, our humanity, our personal history, our stories, those are our histories that we have to learn about, hear about, and remind ourselves of. So I'm excited to share that.
I love it. And the oral tradition is just like will be important forever. My grandpa would sit us down on the mantle of his fireplace and tell us stories. My mom would read to us the entire ride from Manhattan, Kansas to Dodge City, Kansas, or Plainville, Kansas, depending on where we were going. And and I love watching Dale read to Zilly.
Oh, I was just thinking about how wonderful these dads that we know in our heart sharing these stories. And I think even something as Harry Potter, centuries from now, not centuries, if we're allowed to be that long, a time from now will be a story that we tell. It may be reduced by history. It will be eaten like many of the one day we'll be like the Cinderella story, and you'll be like, oh, I know what that was about. There's like a chick, and then there's a shoe, and it's all about not judging people. You'll be like the Harry Potter story. You'll be like, oh yeah, there's a wand, and he's got like a scratch, and there's
Totally. And the moral of the story too, I feel like my takeaway from this story is don't date a Scorpio. They'll take you both down.
They'll take you both down. I mean, there's take it how you. Maybe that's what they meant. Like they were like, no, it's actually just about. It's not about road maintenance, or it's about dating Scorpios, because they will stab you in the back and then take you both down. No, I think it's great. I'm excited to share some more stories. So you'll have me back one day, and I'll be back.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much. So speaking of storytellers, one of my favorite modern storytellers is Hannah Kallenbach. And the piece that Hannah is doing on the 31st, so it's not next week, it's the week after, the Purell piece is a romance. And I don't want to spoil or anything, but it's a romance, but it's one that I'm actually into. So yeah, get ready. So we'll watch a little trailer for Hannah Kallenbach's The Purell piece. So romantic.
I'm actually really shocked at how intimate I thought it was. Like I'm like, oh, someone's like videotaping they're having a nice quiet moment, and you're like, that's your Purell Purell partner, who might have genderized Purell.
Yeah, Purell is beyond gender.
Purell is beyond gender. That's fantastic. Purell piece. Purell.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for it. Yeah, Lauren put in the chat that Hannah's been called the caviar of weird. And it's so true. It's just like, I love it. I want it. I want it all the time.
That's great. That was really great.
Yeah. So that's on the 31st. It's actually our finale night of the festival. Hannah's on a bill with Jose Rivera Jr. And it's going to be epic. I can't wait. And that'll be starting at 9:00 after Out of an Abundance. So Out of an Abundance will ramp up into it, and then it'll start.
Carry it home.
That's it. Wrap it up.
I love it. Oh, that's great. I love that. I love that.
So last but not least on our certainly not least on our lineup for tonight is everyone's darlings, YACKEZ.
YACKEZ.
And reminder, their piece is this coming Saturday. Yes. And what they're sharing tonight are their best looks of 2020, which, let me tell you, it's some looks, just iconic, every single look that they turn. So I'm very excited for everyone to get to behold.
Looks of 2020.
Going great. was. What if all lies?
They're so much fun.
So much fun. I definitely want I need more neon in my looks. I realize I'm very like jewel tones, earth tones, and like bruise tones, as I call them, like browns, blacks, and purples.
You can't call them bruise tones. You can't.
I can't call them that.
I wear all bruise tones. No, you can't. You can't. I mean, I love it. I'm coining it. I'm just putting it in a package, but you can't call it. Also, neon's like you have to have a power. YACKEZ has the power.
They have the power for it.
You have to have the power to wear the neon.
It's so true. Maybe my goal of 2021 is to like find the power, and then 2022 will be to harness that power by wearing neon for all of 2022.
I believe in that. I have a neon fanny, bright yellow neon fanny pack that I wanted to wear all summer, and I wore it once and was like, no, I can't do it. It looks ridiculous on me.
Well, it also depends on what you put it with, right? Like, what are you wearing with the neon?
I'm just wearing my like swim trunks, like just little swim panties.
Oh, that's so cute.
It was a lot.
Well,
it was like the orange buoy in the middle of the dark sea, like just like kind of floating there.
I sort of like that though.
I'll model it for you sometime. I'll model it for you.
Send me pictures.
Done. This was a wonderful Sunday.
I loved it. It like got me all juiced up, and now juiced up with nowhere to go.
Juiced up with nowhere to go. Enjoy your trip to the living room. I can't wait to check back in on the Exponential Festival. I wish everyone, all your artists, a good luck. Run with that this week. I'm gonna have to zip back and check Dr. Sissy because I just had so much fun with them last time.
Oh yeah, you got to get into that Dr. Sissy.
I got into it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Xavier. A pleasure as always.
Thank you, Theresa, and thank you everybody for watching. We appreciate you tuning in with us tonight.
Thank you, everybody.
Be safe out there. Bye.